Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Hawley here of the Screen Rot Podcast. Hope you're well. This episode is a bonus this week. This was last week's Patreon extra episode. We talk about Lilly Phillips going on Russell Brand's show. We do a bit of a tour diary, as we often do on that side of things. And we enjoyed it so much, thought it was so funny, that because it was Valentine's Day last week and we literally love you. Oh, young mum, enter in the room. Come here, baby. We thought we'd let you have this episode on the main feed for free for everyone to enjoy. If you like it, if you enjoy it, there are hours more episodes just like this on the Patreon side of things. We talk Corey's World, we talk Henry Rowley, we did a revisit on James Watt, the Brewdog CEO. That is all on there. It syncs with your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. You don't have to do much. If you want extra episodes like this in the future, get on the Patreon. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just enjoy this one for free. We love you lots, and we'll see you soon. Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst contents from written on screens and indeed our minds. Fuck you to anyone who subscribes to us on Apple, Spotify or YouTube. You're doing nothing for this podcast, nowhere near as much as the Freemasons.
Coming in hot.
$3.99 a month. They're getting extra episodes every single week. And the Illuminati on $5.99 a month, they're wearing lovely little hats. Big shout out to Eugene, who runs our Twitter account. He may indeed be God, and he's been very good to us recently. And a big wink and a kiss to the ladies and the homosexuals who listen, who are some of the most gorgeous and indeed sexy ladies and homos in the United Kingdom. And I'm here as always with Jake Farrell.
The eagle-eyed amongst you might be noticing, not in the normal comfy confines of the UTA office, Tottenham Court Road.
Well, the eagle-eyed amongst them,
or eagle-eared amongst them as well.
The 30%. So we did a poll a month or so ago, being like, right, we're going to do Patreon episodes every single week now.
Yes.
Would you like us to do in studios, top quality extra episodes? Please don't say yes to that, because I'm fucking bored. Or would you like us to keep doing them online? And about 70% were like, keep doing them online. We quite like the vibe. Nice to have something a bit different. The 30% who were like, no, do put some effort in, we're paying you, yes. They will be pleased today, because here we are in a studio, in what I've christened our little house on the prairie.
Yes.
We are in
an undisclosed location.
No, we can tell them.
Well, we can tell them the
city. We'll be out of here by the time this comes out. We're in Leeds, and I booked us accommodation in Leeds. And it's way better than you imagined I would book, wasn't it? It's way better than...
It's on the inside, it's better. On the outside, it's exactly what I expected.
Yeah, on the outside, the way I would describe it is there was news footage last year of quite a strange situation. I think they were either Albanian or Bulgarian families.
It's really great you brought this up. I'm glad you brought this up.
Living in like the ghetto.
Yeah, we've not really touched any hot button issues recently, so yeah, no, this is good. Definitely don't use the word ghetto, obviously. I mean, that's insane.
Not ghetto of Leeds.
What are you, fucking Elvis or something?
Basically, there was like somewhere up north, and it was like the social services had come and taken a kid, and all the people in the community were like, fuck this, and they're burning things and saying, I'm 99% sure that's where we are. Yeah. This is my house that I live in London is quite small. It's a 2 up, 2 down. Mm-hmm. This is a 1 up, 1 up, 1 down.
Yes.
This is 3 stories of 1 room.
Yes. But anyway, this is the glamour. This is a road diary. We're on tour.
The
lads are on tour. This is the glamour. People often say it's nice to hear about the life of touring comedians or comedians at all.
We've done a proper. So like, I left the house at like 2, 3 yesterday. Stayed with the lovely Claudia and Cole.
Are they happy? Are they happy for that to be shared?
What?
That you stayed with them?
Are
you all right? What's going on?
I'm worried it's the sofa that's got.
What would be happening with the sofa?
I don't know if there's stuff in it.
What do you mean?
I stayed with Claudia and Cole.
Oh yeah, it's made out of asbestos.
Who are patrons, listeners, friends of mine. Lovely people. Big shout out to Claudia and Cole who let me stay with them. I'm worried I'm not going to make it through this. I don't know what's happened.
You all right? This is all good gear. This is all
Woke up this morning. Yeah, what a podcast this is, by the way. Woke up this morning, met in a cafe while my electric car was charging. We jump in the motor, Zoom call on the way with our representatives, our agents in America, our slick lady in America.
And by that I mean Jacob means me holding up my phone between us on speakerphone while Jacob does.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
She's basically talking to advertising companies because we're going to start doing ads. Not for you guys, you're going to be ad free forever, but for the shit munchers, they're going to start getting adverts soon. So we have to have these meetings with these advertising companies, and it's basically I'm represented by an agency called UTA, and we've got this very slick lady in America who's like, "Show us the fucking money, cucks," and all these advertisers.
She's talking to us, by the way, not the advertisers. We're paying her $1,000 a week. I'm sure it's a good deal.
Show us the fucking money, baby. And all these advertising guys in the UK are like, oh, a bit forward. Well, I guess what we could do, we could try a bit this, a bit that. And we go, we can't hear you, mate. So we're on the M6. We're on the way up to Leeds right now. We're on the way to Leeds.
We're going to have to break this call off because I need a steak bake.
Excuse me. Yeah. So, and then we did that. We did some more press. We've been in the press this week. We're in Rolling Stone magazine. Yes,
and if you've heard, by the way, friend of the podcast, comedy industry legend Tim Lewis, who did the tech at the Rotties and is just one of the nicest blokes I've ever met. He is putting the rumour about that we are industry plants and that we are paying for PR. If you see that rumour online, that's one of Tim Lewis's burner accounts. Yeah. We are actually friends. We've been friends for a long time. We can prove that. We are not being marketed like Louis Walsh style. No,
we. Do you know what?
They wouldn't be doing a very fucking good job if we were.
Well, no, but we're not. Look, cards on the table, hands up. We have spent years paying thousands of pounds for PR. Yeah. Couldn't get any. I thought we were shit.
Yeah, I've wanted to pursue a number of PR agents through the small claims court.
I've spent probably upwards of $7,500.
I can't believe we've started with the bitterness and the admin of the drive here after what was one of the most kind of positive nights we've had in comedy last night at the Birmingham Glee Club. Why didn't we start there?
Oh, yeah. So sorry. Well, let me just... So just to finish off.
We're driving to Leeds
from
Birmingham.
We're in Rolling Stone. And now we've just done something that's going to be in the Telegraph in a couple of weeks' time.
We need advertisers to pay off the debt to the PR.
Yeah, we're in Leeds. But yes, last night we did a tour show in Birmingham, and it's one of my favourites of my solo tour so far. I started my solo tour last March. Been all over the country last year. This little run that's coming up now, Birmingham, Leeds tonight, Salford tomorrow, Crawley Saturday, Leicester, Chelmsford, Norwich, Luton, Kent.
The home stretch.
They're selling like way better than I used to sell because of you guys, because of the podcast. So thank you very much to everyone who's come. I had a really fun show last night. You fucking killed it last night. You had
I had an amazing time, and it was again in kind of like the undercutting the glamour somewhat. I got there about an hour early, and there was like a kettle and some tea bags in the room at the back, and I just wanted to have a cup of tea because I'm a little old woman.
You didn't really want it that much. Do you know what I mean? You sort of want to a bit, but
I need my tea. Don't talk to me till I've had my tea. And anyway, there was like a succession of people behind the scenes, all just coming in and going, "Have you got any milk? Do you need some milk?" And me just being like, "Yeah, I guess that would be nice." Then it quickly became that they started coming back in as though I'd come in and been like, "Where's my fucking milk?" Like Mariah Carey style. And then once they got me the milk, took 35 minutes, 6 different people, I then made a cup of tea. All the tea bags in there were chamomile. I couldn't even make one anyway.
I'm not going to bitch about the venue at all for a couple of reasons. One, the Birmingham Glee is
amazing.
Genuinely.
It's amazing.
Both rooms are brilliant. I was in the studio room whilst Sophie Duker, Queen of Taskmaster, and comedian was in the main room. Was in the main room.
Not many people had to make a tough decision last night. There was no one going, I want to see both of these shows.
I honestly, like looking, I could see the audience downstairs. And you know what? In terms of numbers, we'd have had a fair fight with hers. Bear in mind, she was in a much bigger room. But we sold like well. But looking at my audience, right?
Well-dressed graphic designers and
well-dressed graphic designers, football fans who did go to university, and their very patient girlfriends who have joined them for an evening out.
Yes,
they're mine. Pink-haired teenagers who are a little bit too into the series Taskmaster. They're with their quite concerned parents to see a show about bisexuality that was Sophie Duker's audience, and never made the two mix again.
We could have had a Larry David situation where the audiences got mixed up, and then there was some kind of riot.
The pink-haired 19-year-olds fidgeting and sort of spinning in their seats while I try and do my reform jokes. No, I'm not a racist, but I'll tell you what. Whereas Sophie,
it's just the High Street. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the High Street.
The graphic designers and their girlfriends go and watch Sophie Duker, and the girlfriend's like, "Oh my god, I'm actually having a good time. What
this
the
is
fuck
amazing.
is going on? I feel good about the comedy on stage."
She's saying stuff that I can relate to.
This is fun.
This is fun. I didn't know comedy could be like this. I thought that comedy was just men in shirts with microphones. No, but genuinely amazing time. I did obviously bitch somewhat about the tea situation.
Well, the other reason I won't bitch about the venue is because a friend of ours and Northern Irish man, Vittorio Angeloni...
You can leave the Northern Irish bit out, I think.
What do you mean?
Let people know who he is.
Well, he's Northern Irish.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one would deny that.
From Belfast.
Least of all him.
He did a podcast, I think it was the sort of Patreon side of the Finn Taylor versus the internet thing. Okay. Said some things about a venue in Liverpool. The venue in Liverpool didn't take too kindly to it, and they've not had him back, and they've written something on their website about how...
I'm less worried about the Glee Club finding out that I dug them out, because then they'd have to find out who I was after that, and then stop not booking me. So I'm not too worried about that. Fair. But no, a genuinely amazing night. So many lovely people came. Thanks to the people that came, bought some t-shirts, chatted to us afterwards.
Yes.
Again, in the kind of you've heard us on the road to Aylesbury. You've heard us on the road to Leamington. We're doing this on the road in Leeds. And this is our first stretch where it's actually full-on touring, where we're driving between it. I think it's going all right so far, isn't it?
I'm having a really good time. I'm really enjoying myself. Do you know what I will say? I didn't have a shower this morning. I was, as I say, staying with Cole and Claudia. I didn't shower there. And then I've showered now. Mm-hmm. I'm a shower guy. I'll tell you that. Are you? I'm a real. That is very, very, very rare for me that I would leave the house in the morning having not had a good wash. Okay.
I'm a two-a-day guy.
Again, something I really admire about you.
Yeah.
One of my favourite things about you.
Clean guy.
Is comedy that you like?
No.
So clean.
No. He's clean in the car.
So clean. But I am enjoying this. It's nice to see the country. One thing I will say about the country is the way that I see the country is driving around the motorways of this country. It all looks exactly the fucking same. Mm-hmm. Everything looks the same.
Yep.
From the motorway. Our motorway experience was, I don't want to say hampered. Our Menti H has had a bit of a kick in today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I won't refer to it specifically. Mm-hmm. I will just say we put a clip out today from the Simon Squibb episode.
Yes.
Where we suggested...
No, don't say it. Obviously, don't say it.
Well, just that the author of a book...
Don't say it.
Who has some opinions... That'll do. Should go on a log flume. Some people who've got thoughts about those opinions are writing those thoughts on the internet about us right now.
Yeah.
And we feel a little bit...
Yes. I've called my wife twice.
Yeah. And so, look, a big thank you. We're not going to talk about it, but a big thank you to the listeners and patrons of this podcast who have gone into bat for us.
We won't be talking about it again, or reacting.
We won't be talking about it again.
I did have it's kind of it's been an emotional day in that sense, because last night was this like really amazing thing. Different leg of the tour. Feels like the more rotters are coming out. Amazing fun.
Yeah.
We're driving around today. We obviously met Claudia and Cole yesterday. Such lovely, warm people. Couldn't have been kinder to you and to us.
They are
about
like
the
mates
show.
Now.
Yeah, genuinely lovely people.
Whether they like
and then
you or not.
We've obviously had a bit of a yeah. They haven't said that. You've said that. Bit of a Menti H battering in the car. 2 advertising sales calls. 1 chat with a journalist, and then we've arrived at right next to Ellen Road Stadium, which is some of my fondest childhood memories. Is coming here. Yeah, I went for Jacob had to record another podcast. That's what he said, but I just heard him crying upstairs for an hour, and I just went for a wander around there. I just had a look around the Leeds Superstore for like 25 minutes.
Did you?
Incredible stuff.
It's a great thing to do that.
Yeah.
Pot around a football stadium.
High quality football merch is just...
Who are they at the moment? Leeds?
Adidas.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, here we go, brother.
Quarter zip. I was tempted. They were a bit too expensive, but I was tempted.
This shirt is... Drake wore this with some pink sunglasses in 2017. Mm-hmm. But anyway... No, Leeds, what a stadium that is.
And Drake, do you want to be associated with Drake at this particular cultural moment, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Sorry, he hasn't been cancelled, has he? Let me just check that. He's not been he's
been
Jewish. He's not anti-Semitic.
No, he's been actively, obviously. You're aware of Kendrick Lamar?
Oh yeah. Right. Let me plant my flag fairly firmly on this issue.
Okay.
I'm on Drake's side.
Right. I will. So
what's wrong with being a nonce? No, I'm joking. He's not a nonce. I think he's a bit of a nonce. But that's not. He makes way better music. Hey, I can't take a ma. I want your mama. It's the song is shit.
Yes.
I cannot believe. Like, I hate the word gaslighting. I think the word gaslighting is so overused.
Yeah, by my wife particularly, and her mother-in-law. Go on.
Well, my wife who barely knows what fucking day it is.
Yeah.
Am I right, brother? By the lawyer that my wife has hired, who's been dragging me through the court
by
for
the courts
everything
of
I've
this
got.
land.
No, I do think the amount of times, like, I do like loads of football podcasts. That's what I was doing just now. The amount of times I'll be on a football podcast and they'll be like, anyone else feel like Jamie Carragher is gaslighting Arsenal fans? It's like, can we stop? Like, that word is used in the context of domestic abuse. Can we stop using it to describe how Jamie Carragher talks about fullbacks?
But Kendrick Lamar is gaslighting
But again,
you.
I think I've been gaslit by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
It's not good music. It's
Right.
awful. It's
not the best impression of it, no.
It's shit.
I do think the song
Drake's
in-
music is loads better.
The song in question, I am a bit like. I think for me, it's more a case of like, am I old? Have I become old? What I also will say is that we're obviously currently sensitive to issues of defamation and like in general about the podcast over the last, like, we've cut stuff out, we don't want to get sued. And then Kendrick Lamar did the Super Bowl halftime show and just called Drake a pedo. Oh, that's a Freudian slip. Called Jake a pedo.
Certified pedophile.
Called Drake.
Yeah,
well,
he hasn't got you sat next to him going, allegedly. Allegedly.
Someone commented.
Allegedly.
Someone commented on the Patreon being like, at the Super Bowl halftime show, you can't see Jake just off stage shouting allegedly every time he calls him a pedo. But like, how's that work? I think Drake is suing him, but like to double down on it.
No, Drake is suing the record label because he believes that the record label artificially pumped that song, like streamed it, put it, used the algorithm to really boost it.
Right.
Against him, yes.
So
that's what Drake is, and I think whilst it's hard, and for someone who is often watching, I've gone viral more than once actually for saying that I've watched pedo catcher videos and I've sympathised with the pedo, and so not to sympathise with the pedo again, but whilst Drake might be a pedo. Yes, I do think he might be right about the way streaming is used to boost songs in the algorithm.
Like, again, am I just like unbelievably old? Is there actually evidence or kind of rumours out there that he's a paedophile? Or has Kendrick just been like, what's the worst thing I can say about someone?
No, it is Georgia Smith. There was something a bit weird where she was really young.
The singer?
Yeah.
No, right.
Yeah, he had a thing going on with her.
I didn't know that.
I think there was a Billie Eilish thing as well where she was quite young and she was kind of involved with Drake at one point as well.
Right.
Shout out Billie Eilish, by the way, who is a Patreon. Yeah.
So you're coming out Team Drake with all of that.
After I've told you that I actually know the details of his alleged paedophilia, yes, I'm Team Drake. No, I don't think he's a nonce. I think he might have gone for women that are way too young for him. But I don't think he's quite a paedophile. And he does make bangers.
Right.
Also, I will say this now before anyone's like, oh, so you're allowed to do whatever you want if you make bangers. I guarantee every fucking person who listens to this will like a song by a paedophile. Bowie? You a fan of David Bowie? Nonce.
Yeah.
Fucking nonce.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. I would have gone with Michael Jackson first, but yeah, David Bowie too.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, difficult, but I did spend a lot of time smoking weed with people in lockdown who convinced me that Michael Jackson wasn't a paedophile. They're all paid actors, and it was because Sony.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's just say that as a podcast, we don't know who
no,
isn't a
do.
pedo.
I know.
So
I think the Michael Jackson thing.
Who do you think's paedophile?
I believe the accusers of Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Allegedly.
That's the first one. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Okay, so we've acknowledged we're team Drake. Well, you're Team Drake.
I think
guess
I'm allergic to something in this room. I'm scratching my eyes now. Yeah.
Might be holding the microphone close to your face. That's what you're allergic to.
I will just say.
Yeah.
The other thing that we did on the way to this our little house on the prairie.
Yes.
Our little house in the ghetto.
Sorry. No. I think like the prairie insinuates we're kind of pioneers, Puritan pioneers out in the wildlands. I think that's troubling. That's troubling imagery.
We're pedo defenders. No, we. What I will say, as we're on our way to our little house,
there's people calling the Leeds local newspaper now, being like, "There's two lads in there. They're recording a podcast about how much they like pedos."
Well, that's the thing is, you could hear someone sneezing next door earlier. So I do wonder that if anyone can hear everything we're saying.
Do you know what my dream scenario is? The person who's sneezing next door is a rotter, and is going, "What the fuck?"
I thought you were going to say, "Is a pedo." Like, fucking hell, they're onto me.
Finally, someone's sticking up for me.
The other thing we did on the way here, at the request of patrons, so we're not just patrons, a lot of listeners messaged me earlier in the week being like, have you seen there is a Russell Brand Lily Phillips crossover? In what has been after...
She's on his podcast. That could be other stuff. When you're like, those two names in the frame.
No, sorry. She smart girl. She did it over Zoom. I'd have done exactly the same. I can come to you, Lily. I could be there in the jiffy. Zoom's fine, Russ. I'm actually local. Look, I don't know where you are, but you're not. Like, I'm in a different country. It doesn't matter what country you're in. I am not in that country right now. We'll do it over Zoom, Russ. I would say in a day where we've had...
Menti H troubles
from a variety of different sources and things and comments on Instagram. Just fuck off.
Yes.
The most damaging thing we did whilst driving here...
We did.
...was listen to, and you kind of watched the... the Russell Brand Lily Phillips podcast.
Yes.
It's the worst piece of media I've ever consumed.
Yeah, and I've watched Afterlife.
I think it's the worst thing my ears and eyes have ever taken in.
Yes.
There's so many things that are horrible about it. He is mad. The thing about it, so he's released it as a kind of episode of his show. I don't know what his show...
I think he has a podcast. Yeah, I think it's like a video podcast.
It's insane that he's as famous as he is, that I was a genuine fan of his for 10 years, and I've just watched an episode of it. I couldn't tell you what it's called.
No.
I couldn't tell you what his show's called.
It's probably called like...
Russell Brand's...
Soul Rumble or something. Or
yeah. The Truth Quest with Russ.
Yes.
But I mean, it's fucking insane. He basically put out like a kind of 50-minute... like kind of taster.
And do you know, but he does these tasters on YouTube. Well, we found out today. He does tasters on YouTube and then he moves it over to Rumble.
Then pulls
and that's
you over
because
to Rumble.
He's been demonetized on YouTube.
Right.
Because of the Baroque metastasizing allegations against him. So that's why it's on Rumble. And again, the window into our lives, we're kind of all at the moment all doing four things at once, and the fourth thing we were doing today was researching at Patreon's behest this interview he did with Lily Phillips.
But then like the 50-minute like taster, you'd think that'd be 50 minutes of him and Lily Phillips talking to each other. 40 minutes of it is him just ranting down the camera.
Yes.
And it's insane. We were like, we just watched a few minutes of it and we were like, he's not taking a breath. He's just he's just talking shit. It's unbelievable to watch, isn't it? You're like, who's fucking charged him up? It's interesting actually, like about 10 years ago, no, maybe less than that, but about 7 or 8 years ago, a mate of mine who's a TV producer said that he was on a show where Russell Brand came in and was like on it, was on the show, did like a guest on like a sitcom. I can't remember what sitcom it was.
Allegations.
Pre-bad stuff with Russell coming out.
I think there was word out about allegations behind closed doors.
There's been word out for
public.
Quite a long time. But my mate who was producer on this thing, I mean, he wasn't involved in casting Russell, but anyway, it was fine to have Russell involved in a TV show. And he was saying like the energy of him is one of the strangest things he's ever seen.
Right.
He said like they had him on set for like 5 or 6 hours. He spent an hour doing what I've just described. The first 50 minutes of that podcast was of just
soliloquizing,
just non-stop talking, and it's like Shakespeare level. What the fuck is he actually saying? just tangents and madness, and actually the innate beauty of the soul means that actually it's like he's talking about NordVPN. That's his ad read. It's like the innate beauty of the soul cannot be contained by a firewall that doesn't actually stop adverts. Whereas with NordVPN, you will find that you find the true self and utter meaning. But he said he did like an hour of that, and then he had to just have a nap, like a baby.
Wow.
He's like 40-something.
Just kind of like powered himself down like a remote control car.
And he said they hadn't started filming. They were just getting
Okay.
They were just getting dressed and getting makeup, but he was just fucking yabba dabba, like wouldn't stop talking. And then they were like, right, we're ready to shoot now. Russ. He was like, I'm so sorry, I need to go and nap. So they had to just find like a quiet room for him to just sleep for an hour. And then they started again. But so on this Lily Phillips thing that we watched, he did 40 minutes of just fucking nonsense, berserk, wouldn't stop talking. Then she was on for the last 10, and then we had to go on to Rumble to watch more. We'll be very honest with you, we didn't manage to watch it. I think Jake would have jumped out the car window if we tried to watch it.
Yeah, at one point I was wearing like a jacket and it got kind of caught up in the seatbelt, and I just like briefly removed my seatbelt to like straighten my jacket, and like it did have the appearance that I was just going to open the passenger door on the motorway and just roll out. See ya, take care.
It is... So... The format of the interview, we'll discuss that first. It's the first question he actually asks her is, how did you get into OnlyFans? Mm-hmm. It is the most textbook interview question that anyone would ask someone like that. It takes him 8 minutes to ask the question. Mm-hmm. Within that 8 minutes, she's just sat there the whole time, just sort of looking down her camera.
Yeah.
Within the asking of the question, this is unbelievable. He manages to both address and deny the allegations against him, and then give understanding as to why the allegations were made in relation to his sexual conduct 10 years ago.
Yes.
It is insane. Whilst asking her how she got into OnlyFans, he goes, obviously I used to live a very sexual lifestyle, and as a famous person I was involved in all sorts of things. Now there's allegations against me, which I could obviously firmly deny. None of those were actually true, but I can understand why, due to the way that I was behaving at the time and my sexual promiscuity, I was accused of these things. And she's just sat there like, why the fuck did I say yes?
Yeah, it's mad. He's like you say, and it does make you realise that like I'm not big, as I've mentioned before, a celebrity interview guy. I'm not that interested in like Louis Theroux asking
Poppadoms or bread, Jada Pinkett Smith,
or Louis Theroux like talking to Paloma Faith and be like, oh, how did that make you feel? But you can now see that there are good interviewers and bad interviewers, because I think you said at one point, which is correct, in this conversation with Lily Phillips, she doesn't really need to be there for anything. There are like 20-minute segments where she's just sat there, bless her, thinking he's going to ask a question soon. That's my agent told me there's an interview.
She sat there and she look. He is using it to talk about himself, right? And he wants to come across as kind of higher than her, and he's sort of like in such illustrious and ridiculous language. I don't think she quite, and I'm not saying she's stupid, but I don't think she quite notices how sneering he's actually being about her and her life, right? And he's
well, I think he has a very clear agenda. Basically, if you haven't watched it, he has a very clear agenda into the conversation, which is to try and get her to admit that all of this sex is somehow unfulfilling, which is the conclusion that he's reached.
He uses the
as
word
a Christian.
sinful. He uses the word sinful
at some point. And obviously, as kind of, again, we talked about in the car, like there is no business plan for an OnlyFans model that has her coming out in public going, yeah, it's fucking horrible. I ate all of it. Subscribe to my OnlyFans. So she's consistently denying that she finds it.
She's consistently denying, but as you say, the end goal for her is do subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Right.
It's quite an interesting battle of the wills. Yeah. In the sense that both of them are aware of the audience. Yes. And both of them want the audience to do a very different thing. Yes. But neither of them can actually ask the audience to do it.
Right.
Russell is sat there going, I kind of want you as an audience to watch me talking to this woman and understand. And essentially, I think what he's doing, he's sat her there going, look at this sexy famous person. Oh, doesn't she regret some of it? Isn't it okay to forgive famous people who are very involved with sexual things of things they may regret? Yeah. Isn't it okay to offer empathy? Can you think of anyone else that used to be famous and horny that did things they now regret that we should actually forgive them for? Audience, can you? That's what Russell Brand is doing. Yeah. Meanwhile, she's there, we're wearing a hoodie with nothing underneath it, half her tit hanging out, going, I don't know what he's saying. I don't care what he's saying. I don't know who you are. I'm fit. If you want to watch me get fucked, hit link in bio. Like she's like, he's using some quite long words and talking about Jesus Christ quite a lot. But I'm going to tell you how much I enjoy sex, despite the fact he keeps using the word sinful. I'm going to keep saying how much I enjoy sex, how much I enjoy making my content, and also, please never forget that pussy is in bio. That's what they're saying.
Please never forget.
Yeah.
That's what they say on the Armistice Day. Never forget, pussy in bio.
Exactly, but they're having this kind of like ultimately quite polite and respectful conversation. Whilst having completely different objectives of what they want to achieve.
And there's just this kind of like immovable object thing. I would say about her as
Neither of them back down.
I kind of respected her because she has the message discipline of like a Tory politician.
100%.
You know when someone goes on the news and they're like, well, how can you defend
Answer the question, Prime Minister.
How can you defend your record on economics? And he's basically going, it makes you feel depressed, doesn't it? And she goes, no, I actually like having sex. I enjoy it. And it's a perfect job for me.
And pussy in bio.
And under the subtext of which is the pussy is in the bio. And like, I do respect, like you say, because he comes at it from all of these self-serving...
Mr. Starmer, will you not condemn the fact that your decisions around the European Union are creating tariffs that make the life of British people harder and more expensive?
Well, I would say that pussy is in the bio. First thing, I would say that you have to remember that the pussy is in the bio.
Just answer the question, Mr. Prime Minister.
Look, I believe that the pussy is in the bio.
As a being of God, though, Mr. Prime Minister, do you not think that whilst we may be in awe of fame and sexual gratitude and things that may wish that we become sexual beings that want to emancipate ourselves in things that maybe we shouldn't do, that maybe as we get older and we commit ourselves to Jesus Christ himself, we can be forgiven of those things, Mr. Prime Minister?
Well, I would say that the pussy is in the bio. That's what you have to remember. And we've come in after 14 years of Tory misrule. And now I'm here to tell you, the pussy is in the bio.
It's interesting. So we did an interview with this geezer from the Telegraph. I say this geezer from the Telegraph. Guy from Tom. I think he's head sport writer at the Telegraph.
We're not going to beat the industry plant allegations at this
point. But he's a lovely guy, and I think he's reached out partly because he listens, but also because I did Fighting Talk, which is a 5 Live show with him a few months ago. We were talking in that about how they're like OnlyFans stars. His sort of main line of questioning was like OnlyFans stars using football to promote their content.
Yes,
right. And it's like, you know, I've got my reservations about. I do think that when OnlyFans stars like your Astrid Wet, I hate saying those words
great, is it?
So much. Astrid Wet and Leah.
You're a father of 2.
I know. It's just like it's, you know, that Mitchell and Webb sketch, which is kind of like it's like. They're like in the Bawdy hospital in the 70s, and one of them just keeps going like, I want to put my cock in you. And he's like, no, you don't understand innuendo. That's sort of like Astrid Wet.
Yes.
It's like she just called herself like Mrs. Cum. And it's like, no, it's supposed to sort of be a sort of cheeky play on words.
But what do you want to do? You want to just to be called like Sandra O'Sullivan or something?
No. But like, I mean, I was about to give an example from my youth that would have really aged me, but I was like, actually, it's much worse. I remember... I mean, this is fucking 20 years ago now. My God, I hope this woman is looking after herself and has a loving family and a good job. But I remember when I was growing up and watching Television X and Babe Station, I was about to say this is an example of someone who has a slightly more tasteful porn star name, and I'm just about to say it. Her name was Lolly Badcock. Lolly Badcock. Doesn't even make sense. It makes it sound like she's got a bad penis.
Why are these modern girls so forthright? Why can't you have a demure? You can't have a demure porn
class. Star. Look back to the 90s. The ladies like Miss Badcock.
Lolly. I'm not familiar with her work. I'll have to look her up after the podcast.
Mate, she was...
Well,
I need to stop thinking about Lolly Badcock. What were we talking about? How did we get onto that Astrid Wet? Sorry, the interview we did. And we were saying on there, we were like you kind of... Like, I made the comparison of like, I think it's a bit weird when they go for what is clearly young football fans.
Yes.
Right? But I've done the Arsenal YouTube halftime show sometimes, and what they'll do on there, a musician will come onto the show quickly, and we'll go, "Hey, Tom Grennan's here." And you're an Arsenal fan, are you, Tom? And he's like,
got his dream car shirt on.
Yeah, sure, Henri, woo. And it's like, "Oh, you're an Arsenal fan, or do you just want to sell the album?" Anyway, right. My tour starts next week. Make sure you're there. Ali Pali, Vieira, and we go, and it's like, well, It's the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Using people's allegiances.
Appropriating football culture, if you want to say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But, Tom Grennan's got like a PR and marketing team who are devising this plan for him.
Right.
Like, Astrid Wett and her mates, they're making it up as they go along.
Yes.
And Lily Phillips, like, she went on the Russell Brand thing. She would have done her research. I don't think she's an idiot by any stretch of the
She's a very eloquent person.
Yes. And mate, can I just say
something? And she's unflappable in that situation.
Can I say something about Lily Phillips?
That was condescending of me to be like, oh, she's actually eloquent. Like, I didn't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. Like, she comes across as a thoughtful and intelligent person.
I think the way people talk about OnlyFans stars and adult content creators nowadays, I think the image that's portrayed of them is that they are just sort of like. I don't think they give him much respect, so I think you're correct to point out that she is very eloquent. I'm going to say something else about Lily Phillips, that we've spoken about Lily Phillips multiple times on this podcast. We've never said this. I've seen other people talk about her on comedy podcasts, and no one says this. Lily Phillips is gorgeous. And I'm not saying that to come across a feminist. I'm not saying that. I don't want a medal for that.
No, don't worry about that. Yeah, no medals will be given.
She is hot.
Right. What's the point?
She is so good looking. And I'm not saying that to get a pat on the back. I'm not saying that so that anyone will go...
You think you're going to get patted on the back for that?
For what?
For saying that she's good looking?
No one else has said it.
But what? How? What? Okay.
That is a beautiful young woman.
Right.
She is gorgeous.
Okay. You're saying it too much now. This is so surreal. I'm sat in a weird part of Leeds, looking at a bloke who's kind of like an older Anthony Gordon after he's transferred to Juventus, and he just keeps saying for no reason that renowned.
I think she's beautiful.
Right.
And
the point of that observation is what?
No one says it.
Right. So you're the bony man brave enough.
Yeah, I'm going to stick my neck out. I think she's gorgeous. And no one says it. For all the discussion about her intentions, about her money, what she does, blah, blah, blah. Let's just have it right. She's beautiful.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that so people think I'm a good guy or a feminist. I'm saying that because I've been looking at her and I think she's stunning.
I'm so tired, Robbie. I'm so tired.
The worst bit, can I just say, of this recording, which we've watched for you, and I will just say, it was interesting talking to Claudia and Cole today, who I stayed with last night, and they're listeners and they're patrons and blah, 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 but they were like, we don't really use social media that much, and they were like, we sort of learn about a lot of the people based on you guys covering them.
Yeah.
You're fucking welcome. Can I just say, right, we do watch all this shit, and I think the first sort of 20 episodes, it was people that we were just watching anyway. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going out.
Yeah, this is detrimentally harming my life. This is detrimentally affecting my life.
Oh my God.
Are you feeling, I mean, it's like the founding thing of Christianity, but are you aware of the religious concept of the sin eater? The person that takes on the sin of the world. It's like through all religions of all time.
I'm 99% sure I heard Russell Brand say that today, yes.
I
don't know how he was using
it.
I've got a Hoover, and it sort of hoovers up all my... I call it the Sin Eater, and you use Russell 20 at checkout on Rumble, you get a free Hoover in the post.
He's not. Yeah, he's mainly advertising amulets by the sounds of things. But
the Sin Eater.
So like, there's a part of our podcast which is like communalizing something that's individual, i.e., you watch Todd on your own, and now you watch it with us, and we talk about it together.
Yes.
There's also a part of it that is like we're wading through the filth on your behalf.
We watch it so you don't have to.
Yeah, that's it. That's a much clearer way of saying it.
Well, silly so
yeah, this is watching Russell Brand lecture Lily Phillips about why she shouldn't be fulfilled by shagging people, and her being like, I actually like shagging people, the most sin-eatery thing I've done ever.
I mean, it reminds me of when we did the Bevo revisit, and I honestly, quite stoned, watched a 45-minute Bevo documentary. Mm-hmm. And I've got 2 kids. I'll never get that time back. I will never get that time back. On my deathbed, I will look my children in the eye and think of the hour I could have spent with them when I was watching the Bevo documentary. And similarly, you know, I'm a little bit tired this morning. And it's like, it's a bit of an endurance test, this fucking touring and stuff, and it's like, wow, another show tonight and tomorrow and this and meeting people and blah, blah, blah. And I love meeting people after the shows, but I don't think I'm shy, but I I really appreciate everyone so much.
100%.
And I want to give all of myself and being like, oh man, what's your name? Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. You put this, oh, hey. But it's really hard. So I do find it intense and tiring. So when we're driving down the road with the comments on the fucking things going off, hey, when did J.K. Rowling? That's fucking going on. And then we've got to do a Zoom call in a minute. And then we're listening to this thing. And he is trying to use an interview to deny sexual allegations against him.
Yes.
And then the line of questioning he puts to her is, why did you get into OnlyFans? And her response... Bear in mind, I am 100% sure her motivation for doing this interview was to try and get more people to sign up to her OnlyFans. And her response is, well, it's the perfect job for me, really. I just love sex. I've always loved sex. Even when I was 12 or 13, I just knew that I loved sex more than my friends. You're like, oh my... Just crash the car. Or... Just drive into a wall.
Even better, bring on an asteroid to kill us all, man. And I guess
God,
maybe tomorrow. So we're driving to Manchester tomorrow. Salford, we're looking forward to it. It'll be today when you listen to it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can commit to, I don't know. So at home, I listen to a radio station called Classic FM Calm. Now, they play about 7 piano songs on repeat with no DJ. And every so often they do an advert for like Saga Cruises or whatever. Yeah. I've now become like a startled dog on fireworks night. Like, I can't really be in the flat unless Classic FM Calm is on in the kitchen and the living room. And like, if I'm transitioning between the two, I have to bring the radio with me and stuff. It's really troubling stuff. Can we do in the car tomorrow? No phones, no talking, just Classic FM Calm for 3 hours.
Yeah, sure.
Can we do that?
We'll do a podcast afterwards and I'm still talking about it. Fuck, it hasn't cured him.
So Leeds,
he's still doing it.
Leeds tonight, the Wardrobe. Looking forward to it. Have you gigged here before?
That's a great question. I don't know if I have. Do you know what? I've actually, the last time I gigged in Leeds would have been 2020, just before lockdown kicking off. I was supporting dear friend of the podcast, dear friend of ours, John Kearns.
Yeah. The goat.
Who performed at the Rotties, although people are going to be annoyed that we mention that because there's a comment we got on page. No, I want to say fair enough to that geezer. Yeah. If you weren't at that event, you must be like, shut up about it now. We won't. We're going to release loads of trailers so that people sign up to the Patreon to watch it, and that'll pay for more stuff to make it more.
I'm going on Russell Brand to talk about it.
Yeah. And for no reason, you're going to talk about how much you enjoyed sex at 12
Do you ever feel unfulfilled by your Baroque conversations with that paedophile Jacob Orley? No, I actually quite like it. I like talking to Jacob Hawley. It's the perfect job.
I actually, more so than my friends, I enjoyed Jacob Hawley when I was 12 or 13 years old. And yeah, I supported John there in 2020, and now full circle, we're doing Leeds tonight.
Can't wait.
Buzzing, sold well. Can't wait to see everyone there. Salford tomorrow, sold out. And may I just say, I did a Manchester tour date last year.
Right.
And I sold fuck all.
So this one feels particularly good.
When I say, I'm not going to say the number because it's so embarrassing, but I sold fuck all.
Right.
The fact that we've released more tickets, but we sold out at 150 yesterday in Salford. And I'm 99% sure it's you guys. Yeah, to be earnest for a moment. And I think I overused that word because someone was like, you always say it. But genuine thank you to everyone who's coming to these shows. I really hope we're going to give you a show you enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed this. I think this has been very good, actually. I think I liked the pussy in bio bit.
Yeah, probably going to get a cease and desist letter from Keir Starmer's representatives.
Yeah.
Stop saying pussy in bio in Keir Starmer's voice.
Have a fucking YouTube grifter called Scottish Comedian be like, when did Keir Starmer actually say pussy in bio? Show me where he actually said pussy in bio.
We got so close. So close.
Joking, you sad cunts.
Thanks so much for listening. We are very grateful you came to Birmingham last night. It was fucking quality.
Someone was sick in a pint glass again.
Yes.
Sorry to talk about the Rotties, but someone who was sick in their pint glass. Someone messaged me, and I don't know if this is true, but apparently someone was sick in a pint glass last night in Birmingham. So if someone wants to be sick in a pint glass again tonight,
yes, what
a run we're on. Maybe it's just us. Maybe it's not the alcohol. We're so shit at comedy.
They're allergic to the chairs like you are. We're looking forward to Leeds tonight. We'll see you in Salford tonight. When you listen to this, maybe one of you will be sick in a pint glass. Thanks as always for listening. Don't watch sort of Russell Brand, Lilly Phillips thing because we've just done it for you. It's just a waste of our time if you go and watch it. It's horrible. Just be assured it's horrible, and hopefully an asteroid will kill us all soon. Up the Rotters.